And I knew that I wasn't accomplishing that task with worksheets that would be carried home in a backpack and sometimes never taken out of the backpack, or if it was taken out of the backpack, it was on the bottom of the pile, math on top. Frustrations for so many parents to try and teach new math skills. Then reading kinds of homework, maybe some other science or other kinds of homework activities, and on, so on and so on. And I kind of felt like the speech language homework was getting lost, and the practice wasn't happening. And I also really believe in integrating speech language practice into daily living activities and not making it be about reciting word lists or creating sentences out of context or telling stories that are sort of random. I had a goal of children ages 3 to 7, 3 who may be typically developing and their parents would really appreciate some information and ideas and strategies for fostering language development that was going to lead to successful school entry and success in the classroom. I also extended it to 7 because many of the children that we work with that have speech and language delays and disorders are in that age range, and they still are needing our intervention and could very well use support and additional practice within the home to extend dosage, to extend our frequency and the duration of therapy that we offer. So it's geared toward typically development children as well as children with speech language disorders. So I really tried to cover the gamut of that early education, early intervention, early education students. I wanted to use proven language intervention techniques, as I mentioned, and we'll talk about specifically what those are in a minute. Ultimately, I wanted children to be able to learn through some fun activities just exactly what the power of what language could do. What can language do for them? What can they achieve by improving their language skills? So I came up with this user-friendly calendar design. There are actually 400 different activities. No, the year is not turning from 365 days to 400 days. What I did was try and create a dateless calendar so that I could supply additional activities beyond 365. And you'll see why in a moment. I wanted to make sure that this home program wasn't going to be a burden, wasn't going to be one more thing the parents would have to fish out of the bottom of the book bag and feel guilty because they didn't see it before, and not have the productions or the activity completed and feel like they really couldn't do it or they didn't have the expertise. So again, along the lines of keeping it practical and simple. So here are some recommendations that I made, and there's actually 10 recommendations. So one is place it in a convenient location. That could be the refrigerator, where many parents post important things. It could be a bulletin board. It could be in the child's room. It could be someplace visible. Mark the calendar dates. So the calendar, as you'll notice from the previous picture, there are no dates written in the calendar. One of the suggestions I have is that the parent take a moment and write the dates in the small boxes. So let's have a look at that calendar again. So the parent would be able to write the dates, Monday, June 1st, Tuesday, June 2nd, and so forth, as the dates fall. And therefore, they would take the time to, maybe even do a counting exercise or what day is it? Let's talk about what day it's getting to be. So I wanted to make these date lists so that for you, using them as a speech language pathologist or a teacher, they wouldn't become dated too quickly and not usable for you. I turned to the core curriculum and extracted from the core curriculum those skills that children are expected to bring to school at the earlier ages and demonstrate in school as they progress from preschool to kindergarten, first and second grade. Vocabulary is a key element. Descriptions, being able to describe things, following instructions, giving instructions, responding to questions, asking questions, relating recalling facts and details, reading stories, reciting poems, singing songs, all of that language-based, turn taking, planning, social interaction with peers. All of learning is language-based. And when I can convince the family of that, when I can have that explained and demonstrated in some way that families can absorb, that when a child's language skills are solid, they have a higher potential chance of succeeding in school. That's an aha moment for many parents. And I like to encourage you all to make sure that when you are communicating with your families, whether it's during IEP meeting, initial assessment, progress reports, try and link your speech and language goals to the core curricular English language arts goals. That, I know we all have to do it, but I think what I'm expressing is that let's make a deal of doing it. Let's make it more apparent to parents that our services are helping their children succeed within the classroom situation on those and meet the expectations of that curriculum. So all of these aspects were built into the activities that are on the calendar. Now this is really important because we always try and figure out ways to get teachers to use some specific techniques in order to build communication skills in their children. They can use the techniques while talking about assignments, books, friends, playground. So you as a speech pathologist can use the calendar as a framework for discussing which language teaching techniques might be useful and helpful in the classroom.